NFL schedule comes out a week from today, right? Here's who the Rams have at home. We don't know the order. We don't know when the bye week's going to fall. And I think most interestingly, we don't know who gets which Monday, Sunday nights, and Thursday. Thursday nights, it feels like everybody gets a shot at. I know it's not everybody, but it's nearly everybody gets a Thursday. Home games, you got your 3 division games, right? Arizona, San Francisco, and Seattle. Same thing on the road. But their non-division home games are pretty interesting. Buffalo, Green Bay, Miami, Minnesota, maybe less so, Philadelphia, and the Raiders. I think you can make a case that Buffalo, Green Bay, Miami, Philly, and Vegas are all potentials for getting a spotlight.
Primetime games?
Yeah. On the road, outside of their division schedule. The Bears, the Lions, the Pats, the Jets, and the Saints. I think you can scratch the Pats, Jets, and Saints just clear off the list. I don't think there's any chance at all that any of those land in prime time.
Are we guessing how many primetime?
So what I'm trying to get. So do we agree? Let's kind of go through this.
Yeah.
Do we agree that they're going to get a San Francisco 49er game in prime time?
One Niner game will be in prime time.
Okay, there's one.
Yep.
The game in Detroit with Matthew Stafford is a slam dunk guarantee, right?
I agree.
Em?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I agree. That's 2 prime times. Yep.
I think
I got 2 more.
I think one that you can put on there as well are the Packers.
I agree.
I think the Packers are a playoff team.
Yep.
I think that's a game. Emma, you're on board with Packers?
So that was not the one on my list.
Okay.
But I think it's because they play them friggin' every year. And I think they also like the I could see that as a 1 p.m.er.
Okay.
And this is the only reason why, because if you and I, what week was it that the Packers and the Rams played?
Like week 9, I think.
It was right before the bye for the Rams.
Yeah, I think it was week 9.
I think at week 9, if they were already looking to the 2024 schedule, they were saying, listen, we don't even have to put this game on any network. It's the fact that the Rams and the Packers ended the season as good as they did. Both were in the playoffs. Both obviously made runs. I think they do. I think just based off of how the season ended, I think that's a primetime game.
Tell me that the Raiders and Rams doesn't feel Thursday nighty. Tell me that just doesn't feel super Thursday nighty.
I didn't have that one.
I didn't have that one either.
Okay.
But
it
does scream Thursday night to me.
Doesn't
so
it?
my Thursday night screamer, though, to me, I don't know why
The
I
Rams
said
are
it like that.
please don't make that nationally. Rams
You
don't
were your
want that
neighbors home
nationally
last night?
televised.
Is that why you were saying
my
it?
neighbors were home. Is the Rams and the Bears. Because I think they might put
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. Now you're confusing me. They might put Caleb Williams in a lot of primetime games, but they might test him out by putting him in a Thursday slot instead of a Sunday or a Monday slot. So I have my Thursday nighter as Rams Bears or Rams Seattle.
Okay, so I'll give you my. I think they get 4 primetime games. Okay. I got one of the Niner games. I agree the Lions is a no-brainer. I agree the Packers is on that list.
I think so too.
The other one that's it's between 2 teams. It's either Philly or Buffalo. I think it's going to get the other primetime game. And I tell you where I'm going to lean, which maybe this falls a line, but I'm going to lean towards Buffalo. Buffalo's the one that they get as their 4th primetime game. That's where I'm going to go with.
I'm going to take 5. I think both of those hit.
Buffalo and Philly?
I think they both hit. I think Detroit hits. I think San Francisco hits. And then I think there's another one. I think Green Bay, Chicago, the Raiders. One of those I think hits. I'm gonna put 5 on the board.
All right, so I want us to all reveal ours in order because I want to see if we're right. So come next Wednesday when they're all revealed, I want to see who is the most accurate about predicting this schedule.
I'll just change all my answers.
All right, so Al, what were your picks?
Niners game is happening. I think a Bills game, Packers game, and Lions.
Okay.
Those are my 4.
Trav, what's yours?
Niners, Lions, Buffalo, Philly,
Okay.
Vegas.
All right, that's interesting. All right, so mine, I think that I'm going to do. So I agree with you guys with most of these. So I have Lions and Eagles are mine 2 for sure. I think will be.
You think the Eagles, the Lions, I think is the surest bet more than San Francisco.
Actually, no. So Lions, Eagles, and 49ers are all blocks. I think those for me are the 3 definite primetime games. And then I'm going to put down the Bears game, the Bills game, and a Seattle game in a primetime slot. And I'm counting, obviously, Thursday as a primetime slot. Or a holiday.
There's no other sport that we've ever had. Maybe the World Cup draw, where you know you're a group and we got to figure out who the group of death is and all that other stuff, where just the idea of who they're going to, like, we know who they're going to play. We just don't know the order.
Okay, I will say this, and you're not wrong, NFL, this is what they do.
Crazy.
NBA does a good job of kind of leaking some of that stuff as well.
They leak it, but do you care?
Yeah. Yeah, NBA schedule, definitely.
Really?
Yeah. I think who you're going to play on Christmas, who is it on opening night.
But it's the same 10 teams on Christmas, right?
It is, but for the most part, I'm not saying it matters who they're playing, November 14th.
Yeah.
But there's who are they playing? Who's their home opener? Who's their actual opener? And then who's Christmas? Those are kind of the 3 key dates.
Dodger game is 14 minutes old. They already have a lead. 1-0, bottom of the first inning. Teoscar Hernandez just drove in Freddie Freeman, and that's probably the closest this game
Do we
will
think
get.
Beto has 2 Modelos down?
I don't know.
Bottom
I
of
think
the
that's
first?
probably a pretty chill day, right? It's Wednesday at noon.
I know.
Can you have 2 Modelos before 12:30?
Sure.
I mean, I guess you can. Yeah. If it were a Saturday, it's a no-brainer.
But you have the entire game to sober up before
He
you're
said
done.
he's only going to stay for a few innings. I'll say 1.
Okay.
Let's see. How about the Dodgers being good on defense? That's weird.
What'd you say?
doesn't
What'd you
last,
say?
right?
What was their ranking?
I believe they're second in baseball
that
runs
possible?
prevented, or second in the National League, I should
Spent
say.
half
runs
of
prevented.
spring training talking about how awful their defense was going to be.
Well, because they've played 40 games. They have 120 left. That's how.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. How many primetime games do you think the Chargers are going to get?
1.
You think 1?
1.
No, they'll get more than 1.
All right, Cody. Cody, you're the
Whoa,
Charger
just
fan. What do
one?
you think?
1.
No, I think
I'll tell you exactly why.
They'll get it just because Harbaugh's there.
Yeah, I think it's because of Harbaugh too.
They had 6 last year, and they were one of the worst teams in
That's
the league.
true.
They're not going to take that swing again.
What,
Think about the Rams.
Agree or disagree, they wouldn't take that swing if it was still the same coach.
It's the same team. The coach is interesting for if you're a fan like Cody, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you are a fan of the team, sure, you're more interested. But that it's roughly the same roster that's coming back with less talented skill players.
I can see
I
that.
didn't see the schedule, so they'll get a Raider game because they usually will
Thursday
get
nighter.
a national
They'll get a
or a
Raider or a
standalone Raider
Chiefs.
game.
Yeah, that's a Thursday for sure.
So here are their out-of-division games that they're going to have. They're going to have the Baltimore Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, Bucks, and the Titans. That's their home games. They're home out of
Ravens is a good one too, just because of the brothers.
Oh,
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
the
interesting.
Harbaughs. That
Yeah.
could be a Monday
That might
nighter.
be a second one.
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Here's the away.
And then Chiefs would be, I think, another one.
The away is the Falcons, Panthers, Browns, Steelers, Patriots, Cardinals. Steelers could get in there.
Here's the best case for why it's going to be 1 or 2. The Rams won the Super Bowl. They come back the next year. They get 6 primetime games. And everybody's like, okay, here we go. They were terrible. They had a bad season. They were 5-12. The next year, 2. Right? It's like
They
week
hit you on the
3,
hand.
week
They're
7.
like,
right. It's like you
no
can't
soup
burn
for
us
you.
like that.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the Chargers they had 5 or 6 last year,
Yeah,
right?
like
sometimes
5,
you get it, and it has less to do with the Chargers. It will have Chargers, Raiders. That usually happens. They
They'll
want
get one of
Patrick
those.
Mahomes on because he's Patrick Mahomes.
They're going to have 10.
I know.
That's what I mean. Like
I know.
there are enough games with those teams playing
Yeah.
good teams that I don't have to put them on against the Chargers.
I
They'll
think-
get one of those division games, and the brothers.
And the Ravens
game
one is, I
interesting.
think, good.
Give them that second one. The Rams, with Aaron Donald gone, Emily, what were you talking about? The Jared Verse is the kind of the steal of the draft
So
talk
there
of
was
the day.
an ESPN article talking about kind of
I
breakdown of the
hate
draft,
that.
early awards for these rookies. Who's going to be the rookie
I
standout
hate
even
that.
before they play a single snap? And they had Jared Verse as maybe a defensive rookie of the year.
I would so much rather be under the radar than be the guy that's, hey, you know who got the steal of the draft? That guy right there. I want to be the guy that in the end of November, you know who's having the best year of all those players drafted in the first round is Jared Verse.
Like Puka and Kobe.
Right, 6th round, 3rd round. It's hard to hide in the first round or hard
Yeah,
to be under
yeah.
the radar, but that he was 19, that it's a position that's not necessarily going to it's not quarterback, it's not a wide receiver, it's not something like that. But all of a sudden it's like, oh, that guy right. I never liked that. I always want to be the guy that kind of sneaks up on you a little bit.
Yeah, there's. I think a lot of it's going to depend on, and it is what it is. Some players take that as the expectations; they can meet those expectations. I would rather be an under the radar guy myself, but we'll see how he handles it.
I'm sorry.
I was saying last year, the defensive rookie of the year was the fourth pick in the draft?
Will
Texans?
Anderson.
So, Will Anderson was
But
great
no
the
one
whole
was saying
time.
he was the sneaky best pick in the draft. It's saying, oh, he's awesome. He's a top 4 pick. He wasn't 19.
The Eagles got a sneaky pick because he kind of fell to them because of the kind of the off-field
Oh,
stuff.
that's the Georgia guy, right?
Yeah.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
That's it.
Jalen Carter.
That's it. Has sports